Good evening, fellow Reds. It's a somber Monday after a disheartening Sunday at Anfield at the Emirates, North London. Not our favourite place, but we're here to talk positive news, positive stories, positive transfers if there were any. But I'm your host Charlie. I'm joined today by Paul and Tom, and we're going to bring you your Monday softener, your introduction to the week. Hopefully, and we'll kind of bring up the mood of everyone. How are you, Paul?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing better today than yesterday.
Yeah,
And just recovering. It was a hard Sunday, but you know what? We can always look towards the next game. So I will survive until the next game when we win.
yeah. I think my rant yesterday kind of helped kind of cleanse the soul a little bit. There was lots of expletives, let's say, and I called everyone all kinds of everyone involved. So the photographer got it, the referee got it yesterday. Odegaard, everybody pretty much that was there. So it just helped the soul, and hopefully today that'll be the same. But Tom, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Getting over it. Not missed this losing feeling. Got quite used to it last season, didn't we? But obviously a bit new again this season. Not lost since September, so yeah, not nice, but
that one doesn't count. That doesn't count. I mean, it wasn't with 11 men, so we're still unbeaten with 11 men.
Still in our title's still in our hands, so we'll move. We need to get 12 points before City, and then
there you go. I mean, yeah. Jay has just come out. We might just pack up, and Arsenal won the league yesterday, supposedly. So where's their parade? But anyway, that's just me being bitter and whatnot. We're not. That's not what we're about. We're here for positive, realistic, good chat about our team and no one else. We couldn't care anyway, could we? But there's some good news. There's some good stories that we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to kick off with our main man. He's back from, obviously, officially, he's back from the AFCON, but Mo Salah is back. He's training from what we've seen. Whether he'd actually be back for the next game against Burnley might be a bit of a push, but it could be really, really interesting how he fits into the team. Obviously, he should kind of fit straight back in, but the impacts to everybody else as well. So, but let's go with yourself there, Tom, first, and ask you, some information about Mo Salah. How important is it that Mo's back running? How much of a positive spin is that for everyone involved in the club?
Yeah, I think it'll give everyone a boost. Obviously, we've done well without him last few games, but I think yesterday we did really miss him. Just that balance on that right-hand side, there was just none of it, I thought, in that front three. Thought we looked toothless, really. Didn't ever look like we were going to score. Obviously, the goal was just a complete fluke. And besides that, we just didn't create anything at all. So he gives the goals on us. He's obviously added the creativity to this game this year as well. And like I said, he just gives that balance off that right-hand side, being left-footed, and obviously everything else that he brings as well. He's a world-class player. He's done it for the last 7 years. We've said all we need to say about him. So it's going to be a huge boost to have him back. Hopefully he'll be back for Saturday. You'd like to think we'll get the job done without him for Saturday. But yeah, can't wait to get him back because he's a world-class player, and you miss your world-class players. And as I said, we massively missed him yesterday because the balance looked all off. We just missed that right-hand side backup. That we don't really have a backup on that right-hand side. Jota's done all right, Diaz done all right there, but yeah, we need Mo back because he makes the difference, and he's done that time and time again.
Yeah. I mean, let's stick with yesterday's game. Let's kind of do a post-match review of a review. I know our guys kind of did that yesterday, but Jay just mentioned Trent being rusty. I'm not too sure. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think considering he only got 60 minutes yesterday and looked a little bit perplexed, it was the right thing to do. I believe. Paul, what do you think? Is it right that Trent should have got 60 minutes and Gomez moved to the right-hand side, Robbo come in and whatnot? But how did you feel yesterday went in terms of selection? Let's start off with. Were you happy with the selection?
Well, to be honest, I was happy with the selection because without we can always look in hindsight and say probably Gravenberch shouldn't start. But when I saw the 11, knowing the players that we have missing, I was quite happy with the starting 11. So as it relates to Trent, I I I don't know. I thought that the manager did the right thing to take him off when he did. I don't think the plan was for Trent to have just 60 minutes. But one other thing with Klopp is that he's not afraid to make big changes in the game. And it was clear that Trent was not very comfortable, especially defending that right winger there, the Brazilian winger. His name slipped me there.
Martinelli.
Martinelli. And we learned some stuff yesterday. Trent is a top player, but Bradley is a better defender, especially against speedy and tricky wingers. Because you could see that Trent was a little bit scared to get too close to Martinelli. And one of the things that I think with Trent is that whilst he's not a slow player, he doesn't have the foot speed of a Bradley or a Gomez. He's not very quick. So because of that, I think sometimes he's a little bit scared to get too close to these wingers, and you could see the hesitation in him. And I don't know if that was one of the reasons why we didn't see Trent drifting in the middle as he used to. So he was more of a right back yesterday than really that inverted into midfield right back that we're accustomed to. So it was kind of a strange game. If we didn't know what Trent can do, we would have thought that this guy is not up to it. But I think he just have a bad day yesterday. Was it rust? I think it could have been some rust. It was just a difficult day. As it relates to Salah, you can win a couple of games without your best player, but eventually it's going to catch up on you, especially when you're playing teams at the top of the table like Arsenal. If you remember the game we played against them recently at Anfield, that 1-1 draw, you could see the fear in Zinchenko's eyes every time Salah is running down that wing. We did not have that yesterday. We did not have that threat on that right side yesterday. So, everybody on the Arsenal defense was so much more comfortable because we did not have that threat. So, Salah being back will be huge. And when you have a player like Salah in the team, sometimes it's not just the goals that he scored, but the way the opposition have to adjust to him. It creates more opportunity for the other players, right? It creates more space in the middle because Salah is attracting one or two defenders, most times two. We didn't have that yesterday, and it was just a bad day.
Okay, do you think we're doing... Tom, I'll come to you about this one, and then I'll get you forward to add the kind of counter-argument, possibly. But do you think we're doing a bit of a disservice to Trent? Yesterday was his first game starting after about 5 weeks. So he had 5 weeks out, kind of lost all that rhythm. Before his injury, Trent was on a different planet to everyone. He was just, essentially, as soon as he put those Adidas Predators on, with a bit of free advertising for everyone, but as soon as he put those Preds on, he just turned into an absolute world beater. And I'm not too sure, and this isn't me kind of throwing anyone under the bus, but I just think people have forgotten about how good he was before his injury. And it was just unfortunate that he just got that hamstring injury at that time. But what do you think, Tom? Do you think we're doing a little service to Trent?
Yeah, a little bit. Like you said, people do have short memories in football, don't they? Like, to people, it just changes so fast from week to week. I don't think anyone's wrong to say that he was very, very poor yesterday. I said before, it's embarrassing sometimes how easy it is to get past him. Like, I know his qualities offensively, but like, you'd like to see him burst a bit more of a gut sometimes defensively. I think that's the problem. Like, he doesn't show enough desire sometimes. I don't think. Like, it's so easy to get past him, and when someone does jog past him, he's just kind of jogging back, isn't he? Like, I think when he goes forward, you see him like proper sprint, like to get on the end of a pass, to get on the end of a shot, whatever. But when he's running the other way. He's kind of just dilly-dallying back, isn't he, I think, sometimes. So I think he does need to work on that a bit. I do think overall Klopp just got it. I don't think it's unfair to say it. I think Klopp just got it badly wrong in many ways yesterday. Like you were saying, Trent wasn't inverting, Gomez was inverting, which I thought was bizarre. Like Gomez is obviously not. He's a defender, and he's not anything else. I thought he looked uncomfortable inverting. Trent was just a standard right back. I just didn't understand that. Obviously, Gravenberg, he's not been good lately. I would have played Elliott, I think. And Nunes, I know he had a knock, but in the pre-match interview, Klopp said that it was just a tactical thing again. I think that was a mistake because Nunes offers so much. So I think overall it was just a bad day of the office from Klopp. I think he got everything wrong, really. And to add to the Trent point, I just think we can't blame him too much because obviously he's just come back, but doesn't take away from the fact he was very poor, and we need to see him back in that inverted role ASAP because that's where he's been flourishing all season.
Yeah. Well, let's just ask this question as well. So Jen's kind of put a really good point. If Bradley had been fit, I'll ask both of you guys, do you think Bradley would have started and probably played the whole game, depending on how the game would have gone? Tom?
Yeah, I think Bradley would have played, to be honest. I think would have been too hard to drop him. He's been absolutely sensational every game he's played. He's been like just pretty much perfection in a right back, offensively, defensively, the end, you know what I mean? He's just had absolutely everything. So I don't think you could have dropped him. Whether Trent would have played midfield or on the bench, I don't know, but I think you couldn't have dropped Conor Bradley the way he was playing. Like I said, he's just been absolutely sensational. So he could even come back in, like when he's ready to obviously come back into the fold, because he's just been that good. But yeah, I think he would have played yesterday, definitely.
Yeah. Paul, what do you think? Bradley in?
Bradley would have played yesterday, primarily because one, he has been fantastic the last few games, but also Trent was clearly not 100%. So that's why. So it wouldn't be Trent being dropped. It would just be a case where Bradley is performing excellently and Trent is not up to scratch. So Bradley would have started, in my opinion, and Trent would be on the bench. But unfortunately, of course, we know what happened to the young man, so it is what it is. But as it relates to Trent, I don't know. I'm at a little dilemma because Trent with the ball, there is nobody better in England right now with Trent with the ball. But it does give us a selection dilemma when Bradley is back because Trent is our vice captain. So when everybody's fit, are we going to relegate Trent to the bench? I don't think we could say that because, that doesn't really make sense. So on the flip side, Trent is best when he's playing right back and inverting. Trent as an out-and-out right back trying to hold width like what Bradley does and defending against speedy wingers is he can do it, but as a manager, you want to put your players in the best possible way for them to succeed. And how he was playing yesterday, that was not the case. So it's going to be interesting going forward, especially if Bradley really continue to give us those performances at right back and forcing Klopp to keep him in the team. The question is definitely going to be, okay, what are we going to do with Trent? Is he going to be a part of a midfield three? Or I don't know. So that's something that we probably need to talk about. I don't know what you guys think.
Let's talk about it now because I think it's a really good. I think it's a brave decision from Klopp if he were to go for Bradley at right back, Trent into midfield, playing alongside McAllister and Thiago, perhaps, as that midfield three, and then because Szoboszlai is obviously injured, he's redone his hamstring. So he felt that prior to yesterday's game. So he could be out for a number of weeks again. Who knows? He could be back next, for the Burnley game. But I don't think Klopp will take that that risk. But there's possibly an opportunity for Klopp to be really, really brave and put Trent into midfield, allow him to do the things he's absolutely world class at, but then give Bradley obviously a run of games, but also back him up as well. He's obviously played in that position for years. So I mean, Paul, what do you think? Maybe that's an option.
Well, for the Burnley game is a perfect game for us to try those things. If you want a game to experiment, is a Burnley at home. So we can try that. But my concern is going forward when everybody is available.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, and I might be in the minority here, I struggle to see how Trent can work in a midfield three.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think you can leave him alone at the 6, right? Because when we lose the ball, then we are in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So when he plays at right back and inverts, that is excellent when we have the ball, because he always have, whether it's McAllister at the 6 or Endo, but someone is beside him, right? If Trent is going to be a part of a midfield three, if you don't use him at the 6, you're going to put him at the 8. If you put him at the 8, is he going to be a little bit too forward to affect the game with those long passes that is his trademark?
Mm-hmm.
So what is the solution then if you want to play Trent in the midfield? You could possibly say, okay, maybe have a double pivot. So you put Trent and maybe Maka, or Trent or Endo as a double pivot 6.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do that, the problem with doing that though is that you will lose one of your number 8, right? Because you would only have one other midfielder if you use a double pivot, unless you play 2 front players instead of 3, or you go to a 4-2-3-1, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go to a 4-2-3-1,
but we went to a 4-2-3-1 yesterday, didn't we, in the second half, and actually performed quite well. Maybe that is the solution, though, Paul. Is you got Endo being in as the number 6, you put Trent next to him, you free up McAllister. We've spoken about it for months in our group chat around McAllister, and I believe he can do a really good job at number 6. But we all agree that for McAllister to be unleashed, it'll bring a new element to his game. Maybe that's the solution. So you have that double pivot.
But I think we all agree as well that if everybody is available, Maka and Szoboszlai are nailed on starters. So with that setup, you would be sending Szoboszlai to the bench.
Yeah.
Or you would play a Szoboszlai and then you would play like a 4-2-2-2. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you do a double pivot, then you only have one other midfielder available. So that can either be Maka or Szoboszlai, but obviously not both.
Yeah.
So what is the solution? And that was why when Trent can play right back and invert, we don't have that problem.
Mm-hmm.
The other option I would guess would be to switch to a back 3, which I think Klopp is reluctant to do a back 3. If you do a back 3, then Trent will be perfect for that setup, because you would have the back 3, then the 2 deep line 6, which would be Trent and Maka or Trent and Endo, and then you'll be fine. You know, it would be like a 3-2-3.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if Klopp wants to play a back 3. And ideally, in a back 3, you would want your left-sided defender to be left-footed, right? Because he would have to do some of the runs, some of the overlapping when we have the ball, that kind of stuff. So it's right now. I don't think we need to worry too much, because we have injuries to players. You know, will reshuffle. But Connor Bradley is throwing a wrinkle into all of these conversations, because if we have to find a position for the guy and the way he's playing, you know, it's kind of hard to send him to the bench, because he reminds me of Robbo when Robbo was really cooking in 2019, 2020. He does everything. And even the way he holds the width, the way he stretches the field, and the way he can put that ball in the middle of the 6-yard box, you know, in precision. You know, his goal last week was such a beautiful thing. It's hard to not see him in the team, but what do? You know, that's the question.
Let's ask that question to Tom. What would you do, Tom? Would you go with Bradley at right back and move Trent into midfield, or would you look at other solutions?
Yeah, I think like a 4-2-3-1 or 4-2-2 is the only way to get both of them in the team. I just don't see Trent in a midfield three. I don't know, something about it just doesn't seem right. Yeah. I think he has played for England in like a midfield three as well, hasn't he? He's just something about it just not look quite right. I think when he's got that time at right back, that's where he flourishes. He's got that time to pick his head up, whereas when he's in the middle, he hasn't got the same time. And another point as well, like I know Trent, the inverted thing's been going really well, but Bradley does kind of make you think we are missing something when we do that, like just that ability to get up and down, flying up the right, and then getting back. It obviously gives you another outlet when you're going forward as well, to have that right back bombing forward, whereas obviously Trent's coming like inside, so you're missing that width when you're going forward. But obviously Bradley's been doing that brilliantly, getting up and down, whipping crosses in, and he's still been able to get back and recover. So yeah, I think he has kind of shown that we are kind of missing something there. But it's so hard to leave Trent out the team. You've got to find a place for him. So it's obviously up to Klopp to try and find what that is. I do like the sound of the 4-2-3-1 with, like you said, with Endo. It's kind of sitting next to him, because that gives Trent a bit more license. It gives him less sort of defensive responsibilities, because he's got Endo sitting there, and he can sort of bomb on and sort of dictate the play. But like you said, the problem with that is you kind of have to leave either Szoboszlai or McAllister out then. So it's a good problem to have in a way, because you've got so many good options. But yeah, I think the only way to get Bradley and Trent in the same team is to have, like I said, Trent like next to Endo, where he's not got that same defensive responsibility as he would at right back or in a midfield three.
It's going to be so interesting, isn't it? The next few weeks with the games that we got, and the benefit that we've got at the moment is there's around about 6 days before our next game against Burnley. There's a full week between that one and the Brentford game, so there's time for Klopp to solutionize that little problem area. Because it wasn't good. I mean, I'm being guilty of it now. I'm forgetting about Curtis Jones. Curtis he wasn't he wasn't at the races yesterday, but prior to that, he's been magnificent. So these are all options. I think the good thing is that the injuries seem to be kind of easing up. So Endo's obviously coming back. We've spoken about him and how important he is. Thiago came back yesterday. How surprised were you, Tom, seeing Thiago be on the subs bench, but also get minutes as well? I was just, me personally, I just didn't think he'll play for the club again.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to really. Wasn't expecting to play any part yesterday, because it was just such a big game to throw him into. But in the limited minutes that he did play, I thought he actually did look really good, which was quite surprising considering he's been out for a year. He's got this mad quality, doesn't he, where he makes 5-yard passes, just looks special. I don't know how he does it, but when he just makes a simple pass, I don't know, he's got this technique. We've said it so many times, he's just such a special footballer. And if you get him up to speed, he could easily be the difference, because he's an absolute world-class player. And we've already got a handful of them, but with him, there's absolutely no doubt when he's at his best. He's one of the best midfielders in world football. He's absolutely sensational technically. Probably the best passer I've ever seen for us in terms of just how easy he makes it look. So yeah, I think he could be absolutely crucial. It's a big if, but if we can get him up to speed, he starts in that midfield three. Obviously, that brings more selection headaches for Klopp, but Thiago, if he fully fit Thiago, starts in that midfield. So let's hope we can actually get a run of games together and he can show the sort of form that he did in the quadruple run a couple of years ago.
Yeah. I'm just going to come to Jay's kind of point here around about Stretch Armstrong. Though I look at 21, I'm actually 40 this week on Thursday. So yes, unfortunately, I do remember who Stretch Armstrong is there, Jay. But yeah, just one of those things. But I'm glad to see him. What do you think, Paul? It was good to see him. It's going to take him a number of weeks to get back up to speed. In that time, can we really afford to carry him? Giving him starting positions when really we should be looking at the future.
Well, it was good to see Thiago out in decent minutes. At this point in his career, I don't think we can look at Thiago as a starter anymore. Um, he doesn't have the legs anymore. But he's a kind of player that we would need, especially late in games, second half, when we are playing against some of those difficult low block teams, and we just need that killer pass. Then that would be where Thiago would be perfect. But I don't see Thiago start because I'm really conflicted about that midfield. Because if I am picking the team, the first midfielder I'm picking is Curtis Jones, followed by Maka. So,
Yeah.
if you asked me the same question a month ago, it would have been Szoboszlai number one, but he has fallen off a little bit. So, we have so many options, and sometimes I wonder if Klopp is confused. But it's good to have those options. I'm glad Thiago is back. I hope we're not giving him another contract because the guy is not available and we can't rely on him going into next year when he's 33, 34. But it was good to see him back, and I think we will need him to come on and give us a good 20, 25 minutes here or there, in an important game, and I think he can do that. But then again, is he a 6? Is he a 8? Where do you play him? But again, another problem that we have to solve. But it was good to see him back out there. He didn't do much yesterday for the limited time, but it was good to see him back.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's park the Trent discussion. Let's think about the centre-back situation. Now that Konate is out, I think we're probably all saying that Bradley should play the next game. Let's say we're gonna choose Bradley as our right back. Do you think Robertson comes back in at left back for you guys? Tom, ask you quickly.
Yeah, for me, he comes back in. Gomez has been brilliant. He's been faultless, really, but Robertson's, for me, is still probably the best left back in the world. Definitely the best left back in the Premier League. He's done it for how many years now? We know how good he is. He gives the balance to the team, which Gomez doesn't give, which is vital. Gets up and down. Like we said all we need to say about Andy Robertson. He's a world-class fullback, and as good as Gomez has been, for me, he comes back into that team where he can make a massive difference in this title running.
Yeah. Okay. And Paul, do you think Robbo comes in straight away left back?
Absolutely. Gomez, I think started yesterday because Klopp felt that with Gomez we were more defensively sound, but with Robertson, I think it's a net positive to start because he is not a bad defender, but he gives so much more going forward, offensively. So Robertson to me has to start, and I would start Quansah beside Verge over Gomez for the next game. Quansah has not put a foot wrong, so and then Gomez is our utility guy, right? He's the guy that we can bring off the bench late, if we want to protect a lead, whether to replace Robbo, whether to come on the right back position, whatever, or to replace a centre back, or to play a back three. So I would start Quansah, Robertson, and have Joe Gomez on the bench.
Okay. Well, you read my mind. That was the question I was going to come to. So for you, Tom, who would you go for as the partner to Virgil?
Yeah, I'd go Quansah. I think he's been brilliant every game he's played this year. Gomez hasn't played centre back for a while, has he? Even though he's been good at left back, you don't know how he play at centre back. So yeah, for me, Quansah, he's built up a good partnership with Van Dijk as well. So I think he definitely comes in for me. Yeah. Cool.
No, that's what I was thinking as well. I think it's a good opportunity for Quansah just to showcase his credibilities again. And it is going to be an important game, isn't it? So so Jen just come out and just said she'd like to see Quansah. Anyone else in the chat, please just let us know. Who would you go for as the partner for Virgil in the next game? So we'll all agree about the defense. Let's actually go to the front three. In coming back to the Mo conversation, if Mo is fit and firing ready for Burnley, Paul, I'll come to you. Who would you go as your front three? And would you straight away go for Mo? But then who do you choose as your number 9 and then your left wing?
Well, agree that Jota is probably one of the best finishers in the team. So if you want a chance of all later somebody in the box, you want it to be Jota. But having said that, I think Jota contributes less than the other front players, to the build up, out of position, etc. If everybody's available, for me, my best front three is Darwin Núñez, Mo Salah, of course, and Lucho. And I would have Jota as my weapon on the bench. So I think that is what we will see. If Salah is not available, then I would start Jota down the middle and still keep Cody Gakpo on the bench. I don't think Cody has been quite up to himself in the last couple of weeks. So I would have him on the bench regardless of whether Salah is available or not.
Yeah. And what do you think, Paul? Sorry, Tom.
I'd go obviously Salah if he's fit, and then I'd go Jota down the middle. He's just been in such good form. Whatever you can, I wouldn't drop him. I think he's just been in such good goal scoring form.
Yeah.
And then I'd go Núñez on the left. Go Salah, Jota, Núñez. Just you got goal threats in every position there, haven't you? All of them can just bag a goal whenever. They're all in double figures this year for goals. So yeah, I'd probably just prioritize having goals in that front three. Diaz, I just think he's been off it most of the season, really. He's been looking a bit better lately in terms of his all-around play, but he's still not delivering the output that we need, really, to win a title for me. And Gakpo, I don't know, he's been off it for a little while now. So, yeah, I think for the running, as long as they all keep delivering, I'd like to just go with Salah, Jota, Núñez.
Yeah, so I saw a tweet a few days ago. I think this was before the Chelsea match. So before the Chelsea match, the goals assists from our front three during the AFCON period, Darwin Núñez got 3 goals, 2 assists. Jota got 3 goals, 2 assists. Connor got 3 assists. Obviously, he got his goal, didn't he? And then maybe a couple of assists as well in that game. Curtis Jones, couple of goals. Cody Gakpo. So there's goals in that front line, and obviously there's big support from our right back in that position. But are we losing something? Are we losing something when Mo comes into the side? Because Lucho, Darwin, and Jota actually work quite well. They're quite fluid. Paul, maybe you've kind of alluded to your point here. Choosing that. You've chosen Mo, but maybe there's something there actually around the fluidity. Whereas with Mo, as good as he is, it kind of restricts how the front three kind of move. Tom, what do you think? Or Paul? Yeah, go for it, Paul.
Mo is still our best player, right? So you have to play your best player if he's fit and available. And the thing about a player like Mo is that, and I continue to say this, he pulls so much attention from the opponents that even when he's not scoring or getting an assist, he is indirectly contributing to goals, right? So even when we again go back to when we play Arsenal last time at Anfield with Mo, the difference he made coming down that right hand side, it creates a situation where the central defender have to drift over to help the left back over there because of the fear of Mo. So I don't see a scenario in which we can have Mo available and decided not to play him for tactical reasons. Right? If he's not fit, I want to give him a break, then that's a different matter. But,
he should be quite fresh, shouldn't he? He should be fresh from
not playing. Yes. Correct. And with people saying that, with Mo was there, we didn't miss him and that kind of stuff, that should rub him the wrong way, and he should come back very motivated to show us exactly what we missed. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him come back and to see him really be productive for the rest of the season.
Okay. And Tom, what do you think? Do you go Mo straight away, and then who would you choose? So, do we lose anything playing Mo in that kind of right hand side of the front three?
Yeah, like you said, you do lose the fluidity. obviously Jota, Diaz, Nunes, they can all sort of interchange without any problem. Most sort of you can play up top, but it's just not sort of as fluid as the other three. But obviously, his strengths far outweigh his weaknesses. Like I said, he's world-class player. His output every year is just second to none, really, in the Premier League for the time he's been here. So consistent, world-class player, scores, assists. So again, you do miss the fluidity a little bit, but you still put him in if he's fit. Give him an hour maybe on Saturday, and then hopefully after that he'll be ready to play full 90 again, and it'll be a massive part in us winning the title if we do manage to do it.
Yeah, I think it's really important that Mo does get back into the team. For me, Nunes is massively important. If you have a look at the 4 games that we've lost this season, including the poor results in the Europa League, Nunes didn't play those games, didn't start those games, and we just lose something when he's not there. That drive, the ability to scare those centre backs is massive. And for all intents and purposes, Jota's a great finisher, but he doesn't scare defenders. He may scare Arsenal defenders at some points. Didn't do it yesterday, unfortunately. But Gakpo he's played like 5-6 positions this season. He just doesn't seem to be getting run of games. He was brilliant last season, but just seems like he's not quite hitting those same marks as what he did last season. So where do you come down to? You got Lucho, who has played well. Seems like he's getting back to his best following his knee injuries, the situation with his dad. That's a positive, but can you really rely on someone like him at the moment? And there's that Darwin question that everyone asks. Do you play him on the left? Do you play him up front? Up front, he the other day had 4 shots that hit the bar, hit the woodwork. Is that someone that you can rely on? But just the sheer fact that he causes so much panic, is that just worth the headache sometimes you get? Those are the questions that we need to be asking. I'll just kind of ask you guys, any more thoughts about what I've just said there? Anything else do you think? Or, we can kind of close the book. We'll wait until Burnley. I think there's a lot of time before then, isn't there?
Well, I would say, it's been a day, so now it's time for us to look past Arsenal. We won't play them again for the rest of the season because they're out of the competition, and we have played them twice already in the Premier League. None of us expect us to be at this stage in the year with only 2 losses behind us, right? We still control our own destiny. We have 4 winnable games coming up. And we always do very well against Man City at Anfield. So we are still in a very good position. Now, if we continue to win, this is our mindset. We have to win those games and put pressure on Man City to be perfect, right?
Yeah.
Can they be perfect? Maybe, but let's see. I would be very disappointed if when we play them, we don't have 12 additional points in the bag. So all we can do is focus on our next game, and also we have the Carabao Cup against that London team Chelsea coming up. We need to win that as well. So it's not all doom and gloom. We lose a game to Arsenal. Arsenal was celebrating like they won something, right? That just goes to show you, the type of club Liverpool is. When a team can beat Liverpool at their own home turf, and they are celebrating as if they won a Premiership. That just tell you a lot. So, we are in a very good position. So let's just move on and just get to the next level and just win some games. That's all we can do. Yeah.
I'm going to bring up this comment. Now, I've had some messages during the stream tonight around this 200 mil supposed interest still from Saudi Arabia from Mo. Let's talk about it. It may be covered a little bit more tomorrow. But 200 mil, if that's still something that Saudi Arabia is doing,
I'll take it.
You take
I'll
it.
Take it. Yep.
There's obviously benefits to keeping Mo. He's still world class in a lot of ways. There's maybe something around his penalty taking that I just want to change and give it to someone else. But Paul, let's go with yourself. Let's stick with this topic. Kind of breaking as such. Do you take 200 mil and reinvest in the team? There's just so much. There's obviously going to be other things that we want to talk about. Mbappe, maybe that money could pay for Mbappe. Who knows?
Well, we always say this player A or player B or player C, be it Mo, be it Trent, be it whoever it is not for sale. But every player, everything in this world is for sale. It's just depending on the price, right? Trent is not for sale, but if somebody comes on and give you ridiculous money, then he's gone. Because if we get 200 million for Mo, which I think is not accurate, but let's say we get an offer, we might not be able to replace Mo with a right winger right now that can give us more goals. But we can do so much other stuff to the team. We can bring in a player like Inacio, which, what's that, 60 million? We can spend another 30, 35, maybe 40 and bring in a young right winger. We can add another number 6. We can do so much to improve the team. And let's face it, Mo is very good, but he's 32, 33? So it's not for sale, but if the price is right, we will be stupid not to at least take it or consider it.
Tom, what do you think about that one then? I mean, Jen's asked the question, what if Mo doesn't want to actually go there? Do you force him out the club?
No, I don't think you can force him out the club. Obviously, it'd be very disrespectful to one of our greatest ever players to do that. I can't see a world in where we get 200 mil for him. I think we'd be lucky to get 100. But yeah, I still don't think I'd take 200 just because he's just a world class player, and even though you could use that money to get 2 or 3 different positions, I still feel like we'd be a weaker team without Mo Salah in that team. So if you get like a Inacio and like a number 6, and then like an Elise or something, I still just don't think that's better than having Mo Salah in your team. And I don't think he's showing signs of decline either. Obviously, he's a bit of a different player to what he was. He's not as fast, but he's much better in terms of his creativity. So as an overall player, I still think he's as good as he's ever been. He's showing no signs of slowing down in terms of an overall player. So for me, I still think he's kind of priceless in a way. As much as 200 mil would be tempted for a 32-year-old, I just think he's that important to us that I still don't think I could accept any offers for him, to be honest.
Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate in this one.
Before you come in, here's my counterpoint. I would like to hear Tom answer to this. On one hand, you have Mo Salah. On the other hand, you have Osimhen and Inacio. Right? Which hand are you taking for the same money?
I'm sticking with Mo still, just because you never know how these new signs are going to work, do you? I mean, they've been great at their respective clubs, but it's a different league, the Premier League. It's always a gamble, bringing these new signings in. So I'm sticking with Mo personally.
Okay.
Inacio is 21. The other guy is 24, 25. Charlie?
I take the money. Now, Jay's just throwing out a really, really interesting. That's what I was going to come out with. Was, let's say Xabi Alonso comes in the summer. Klopp's going. We know that. Xabi Alonso comes in. He wants a bit of a war chest, and he sees this opportunity as a very much like a Coutinho situation. Coutinho left the club. We got a lot of money for that, but then in the aftermath, we were able to sign Virgil, Alisson. Those 2 players kind of transformed the club. Would you be tempted? Is there someone out there that I'm not thinking of anyone just yet, but there's potentially someone out there, or the way that Xabi Alonso wants to change the formation, and Mo would inadvertently become the odd man out. So if he wants to play 2 up front, is Mo the odd person out in that respect? Tom, I'm going to ask you: could you see something there?
I mean, obviously, if it came to that situation where he doesn't really fit into the system, then obviously you'd be silly not to take the money for him and rebuild. But he's Mo Salah. I think you build a team around him. You don't sort of not the other way around. I do think it's a bit different to the Coutinho one as well, because Salah's twice the player that Coutinho whatever was, and also we don't have as glaring gaps as we did then either with the goalie and the centre back. You know, we were absolutely desperate for them positions then, and I think now, you know, a centre back and a defensive midfield would be nice, but they're not, absolutely necessary. I don't think. And then you're obviously missing that goal scorer. You know, we've got Jota, we've got Nunes, but Jota's got it fitness issues. Nunes, he's up and down. And to win any of the big titles, you need a proven goal scorer. And Salah, we've got one there. So for me, you build a team around Salah, not sort of the other way around.
Electric Dreams, I love Ivan Toney. I think he's brilliant. I think he's a really, really good player. Good age, maybe cost a lot of money. But, you know, for someone that we probably want, just like what we kind of alluded to, someone actually can play plays that Kane type way, you know, can be a playmaker, is definitely a goal scorer, hard to play against. Maybe Ivan Toney's the answer in that respect. There's a few more comments here as well that I just want to bring up. Paul threw out a really, really good one. Again, maybe this is something looking towards the summer, but if Xabi Alonso comes in, he plays in a different way, which is kind of alluding to what Paul said earlier about the free at the back. So Bayer Leverkusen do play free at the back. Does he want to bring in Hincapié? Does he want to bring in Frimpong? Probably not with Connor and Trent being the right backs at the club. But if we have a new manager coming in who has a different style of play, is there something there? Paul, I'll come to you about this one. Is there something that we need to consider in that respect?
I've always maintained that I don't like managers who just have a rigid style of play. I don't like Tuchel is. That's why I don't like Thomas Tuchel, even though he's a good manager, because he just have one way to play. I like the manager. I think a manager style of play should be dictated by the type of players he have in his squad, right? I'm not sure if we have the based on the squad at the moment. I don't think we are set up to play 3 at the back, right? So if we're going to play a 3 at the back, we would need, in my opinion, to bring in a left-sided centre back. Mm-hmm. If we decide to play 4 at the back, then we technically don't need a left footer there. We're fine with Robbo as a left back. Yeah. So I think if we get Alonso, I think he want to bring 1 or 2 of the guys from Leverkusen, primarily Hincapié. So, but I don't like the idea
of that Virgil question, though. Paul. There is that Virgil question, isn't there? Virgil needs to be replaced at some point in the near future. So, yes, again, with the money that we have there from maybe a Salah deal, is there something there that we could future-proof ourselves by getting someone in that could take over from Virgil naturally?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if Salah goes and we get that money, then we definitely would have to get a young centre-back, a young talented centre-back that can replace Virgil in a year or two. Quanta is, in my mind, replacing Joe Matip. So there is definitely room for another centre-back. It's while it's not a must for him to be left-footed, but it's certainly a plus just for the balance of the team, So I would love to see Salah give us another couple of years, and I don't think he wants to leave because I don't think the money bothers Salah. Salah's been playing professional football now for so long that he's making a lot of money both on and off the pitch. Yeah. I don't think he'll be tempted by another few million here or there, especially as it looks like we're more than likely going to be playing Champions League football next year. So I think I don't think the money will tempt him, but 200 million is a lot of money, though.
Yeah. Tom, we'll come back to you about this one then. I guess, we probably need to start thinking about the replacing of Virgil at some point. And again, well, let's ask this question here. Jen's asked a really question. Well, a good point. maybe he doesn't want to go to Saudi. Where else could he go? Could he go to PSG? Would PSG be wanting to get a big name in? He is friends with the owners as well, isn't he? Someone that would replace Mbappe. Mbappe looks like he's going to be leaving, probably going to Madrid. Very unlikely to be coming to us. But is there something there? Does he want to go to Saudi?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of players will be put off with how it's gone this year.
Yeah.
I think everyone thought there'd be a lot of more like media spotlights on it, more better crowds. But there's just like all the world class players that have gone there, and you don't hear a peep about it, do you? There's like crowds of like 800 people there. It's just not delivered at all, really. And like you see Hendo go back to Europe. You've heard Bobby's not happy, Benzema's not happy, so I think the whole project's just not really worked. And I think it will put a lot of players off this summer. You won't see anywhere near as many going this summer as you did last. So although it wouldn't surprise me if Mo went, I think he's going to have to take that into account. He's loved here. He's in the best league in the world. He's want to play for one of the biggest clubs in the world. Like, he's got everything he needs here, really. And I think an important point to make as well is we're talking about this 200 mil, but there's a reason that he's commanded such a big fee. He's, like I said, he's a proven 20 goal a season, year in, year out. If you look at the top 5 leagues across Europe, how many players can you name that get 20 goals season in, season out, season in, season out? You can probably count them on one hand. So that's why I wouldn't take any money for him, just because those players that get you 20 goals every single year, they're just so hard to find. And if you get an Osimhen, there's no guarantee that he does that. So, yeah, for me, I'd love to see him stay. I can't see him going to Saudi as much as I did last year. And yeah, I wouldn't be taking any money for him, just because, like I said, those players are just priceless, I think.
Yeah, and this is the question I'm going to put across is like that flip side. So if you were a new manager coming in, and you don't want to rock the boat as much as possible, so keeping players, keeping formation, is it crucial to keep players like Salah, regardless of people throwing silly money at the club? Would someone like Xabi Alonso be happy to keep Mo? Because he is the star man. Tom, I'll stick with you with this one.
Yeah, definitely. If you're a new manager coming in, you want to be working with as many world-class players as you can. It obviously makes your job a lot easier if you got the likes of Van Dijk and Salah around, because they're just so elite at what they do. And obviously, when you have players like that, it attracts other players as well. When you're in the transfer market, they're going to be saying, "Oh, I want to play with Mo Salah." That's a massive draw of coming to the club. And it's going to be easier for the managers to attract players when they could see how many world-class players we have in the team. So yeah, like I said, I'd love him to stay, and he's definitely valuable to us in so many ways.
Yeah, Paul, what do you think? Do you think it's really important that forget the money, but let's talk about the harmony within the team? Is it really important to keep someone like Mo? If the club decide to cash in, do you think that disrupts the harmony within the squad coming into pre-season next season? It's going to be crucial.
Not necessarily. I think the team will be fine. I just get this feeling that Mo and Verge want to continue playing for Liverpool. I think Xabi Alonso is also the perfect manager to come in. Not just because he has played at Liverpool for so many years, but he has been winning. He is winning. He has shown over the last couple of years that he can take good players, but not great players, and turn them into a decent unit. So it's interesting to see what he can do with our squad. And I'm pretty sure, somewhere during the interview process, he will have to before he gets the job, to convince the management or the owners, of his plans. How is he going to keep the team together? How is he going to keep guys like Mo happy and productive? And I think he will. A lot of people talking about the years when Sir Alex Ferguson left Man U, and how difficult it was to get a successor. But one of the biggest differences is that when Alex Ferguson was leaving, Man U team at the time, if I remember, the team was older. The average age of the team was, oh yeah, I saw it, 1-0. I'm watching
1-0
it.
to Brentford. 1-0 to
Yeah.
Brentford against Man City.
Yeah, Neil Maupay for a person scored. Right,
Okay, right. Fingers crossed.
right. And the Brentford goalkeeper has been real outstanding, save after save
Oh,
after
okay.
save. Yeah,
There you
but
go. You heard it live.
back to our chat. When Ferguson left Manu, most of the players or the top players were older.
Yeah.
We have a very young team, so we are primed to continue to be successful and to be competitive. So I think this is one of the best jobs available in football in a long, long, long time. And because usually when teams are looking for managers, they just fire the manager. This is not the case at all. So it's a very exciting time for going forward. And I'm convinced that Xavi will be our next coach. I don't know. I just think it's going to happen.
Yeah, hopefully.
Even though Thomas Frank is my second favorite.
Yeah, you've spoken very highly of Thomas Frank. Let's see
Yeah.
if we can pull it off. Let's maybe throw his name in the hat. That's
I think the City players always in the hat.
Yeah. Well, that's a discussion for another day. I'm gonna finish up so we can watch up the game. There's something in today's title. I think it's really, really important that the club actually announced this. But Anfield is set for its record attendance. Certainly for a few decades, but a Premier League record for Liverpool. The Anfield Road is almost complete. There's going to be 60,000 fans at Anfield for the Burnley game. How important is it that we have those extra voices, singing along? We need those crowds, doing everything, acting like 12th man. Tom, how important is it that we have a full capacity at Anfield for the remaining part of the season?
Yeah, very important. Obviously, we know what the atmosphere can be like when everyone's up for it, and getting as many people in there as possible. Obviously, it's going to help to add to that. So, yeah, it's all good things. Obviously, it brings more revenue into the club as well, and yeah, it just brings us closer to what we need. Really, like it's one of the biggest clubs in the world, and the stadium isn't really big enough for how big the fan base is. So, obviously up to 60,000 now. Hopefully, possibly we can add a bit more to that. Like I said, United, Real Madrid, Barcelona, they've all got sort of 80 to 100,000. It'd be nice to see us kind of get close to that. And yeah, like I said, every little helps in terms of the crowd, adding to the atmosphere, and yeah, obviously the revenue too. So yeah, it's all good stuff.
Yeah, I would love it. I'd love it if they did proceed and look at the Kenny stand. Do exactly what they did with the main stand and have that absolutely monstrous, imposing stand, overlooking everyone playing football, and then they finish off with the Kop being the biggest one, single tier, kind of the Kop end, something that's equivalent to the Dortmund Kop that they have there. That would be amazing, but it's going to be a few years off, isn't it, with that respect? But Paul, how is it important for someone that's kind of outside the UK, the atmosphere? Do you get that atmosphere? Has it been bad in the last kind of few months, few years? Is that something that you pick up, or is it something that kind of gets diluted from commentary and stuff like that?
Well, one of the things that's remaining on my bucket list is to one day visit Anfield.
Yeah,
right?
always
So
welcome.
I kind of envy you guys that live in the UK, but I always try to join the broadcast for a home game 5 minutes before kickoff, because even though I'm from afar, that anthem, you never walk alone, always send chills down my spine. So it's really important to have the stadium rocking. To be fair, I think it has been rocking for most of the games so far this year, but adding more supporters never hurts. So let's see if we can move from a 12th man to a 13th man, with just that extra.
We're not getting help from the referee, so we need all the help we can get from everywhere else.
Right. So yeah, it's good news. Let's hope tickets might be a little bit cheaper or more available, but I'm not holding my breath for that.
Yeah, I can't see with this ownership, and they should certainly have caps. For me, the way I see it, and I'd love to be a regular going, someone that goes to Anfield on a regular basis, just time, money, family, and whatnot. But for me, there should be a dedicated stand for young lads who just sing their heart out. That would transform the rest of the stadium. That's the way I see it. You get young lads who can afford to go to the game because it's reduced ticket prices, and it's a singing station, a singing section of the club. That would be really transformative. Tom, I don't know if you got any kind of last thoughts before we close off. Do you kind of agree with that? Is that something that we should do?
Yeah, it obviously massively adds to the atmosphere. Obviously now you get a lot of sort of older / day trippers in the ground, which does sort of dilute the atmosphere. And yeah, the younger lads do sort of create the atmosphere, and if you get that would transmit to the rest of the ground. But obviously enforcing that is just never really going to happen, especially in the modern day, and especially with FSG. I don't think they'll agree with reducing ticket prices. So
yeah,
it's a great idea in theory, but unfortunately, can't ever see it happening in practice.
Yeah. Well, if they're going to do anything, I think they should rename the main stand to the Jurgen Klopp stand. That'll be just beautiful. I think the man deserves a statue. Certainly deserves to have his name put up because of everything he's done for the club. Over the last decade, just absolutely phenomenal man. I'm going to miss him, but we still got just a few more games. We've still got a number of key moments. Hopefully, the Last Stand, the documentary is being filmed. Whether you like it or not, it might end in the most amazing kind of finale for Jurgen. So what we'll do, we're going to end on that point, so everyone can start watching the Brentford game. Hopefully, Brentford bring it home. Fingers crossed. I just want to say thank you for Paul, thank you for Tom, thank you to everyone with the amazing chat. It's been brilliant today. Come back. We're back on tomorrow night again at 7:30, and always we have the American stream 2 o'clock a.m. UK time, and then obviously you got your US time as well. So just watch out for that. We'll be back. More chat, probably more discussion about Mo Salah as well. I'd suspect. Just want to say thank you again. Bring on the red man. Let's see this home. Let's get on to Burnley. Thanks all.